I'm Joanne Banko from Let's Go Sew. I'm really excited today to share with you a whole variety of different techniques for embellishing scarves. So I don't know about you, but scarves are one of my favorite seasonal accessories. And when you think about it, they do cover all seasons. I want to show you scarves today you can wear all year round. So we start with summer, we go to winter, we go to spring, and then fall. So I've got a whole lot of tips to share with you. I'm gonna head over to the machine. I'm gonna get started with couching on this beautiful pashmina scarf. Okay, so I'm gonna add some couching to this scarf, some additional. I've got some extra space here. And I've got a special accessory attached to the machine where I've got yarn feeding through a guide here. So I've got two holes there. I've got a hole in the foot that my yarn is fed in. And I've got a simple zigzag stitch selected. This special foot is belt driven, so it keeps everything nice and smooth. I can go very randomly, swirl around there. Smooth that out so that you can see what I'm doing. And I want to show you how I finish this. I'm just going to do a little tie off on here and cut the thread. And so you can see here I've got just a little, I want to leave a little bit of yarn left, and I'm going to very simply just tie that in a small knot. Just wrap that around my finger. And then I'm going to use a large-eyed tapestry needle. I'm going to put that right in the needle, weave that underneath the stitches so it's nice and neat and finished. And then I want to show you the wrong side because that's why I used matching thread. So we could smooth that out, give that a good press, but that makes it just as pretty on the wrong side as it is on the right side. That's really important with scarves because we want them to be able to flip around and look nice. So I'm going to change over to another foot and show you some more techniques. Okay, I've actually got my machine set up for another technique, but before we head over there, I want to show you a few things on the serger. Because you saw the scarf with the lightweight chiffon, the very colorful one, and that one I finished the hem edges with a rolled hem. I'm going to show you how to do that on the sewing machine as well, but I'm going to start here. So this is really very sheer fabric and really can be a little bit tricky. So I sometimes will take a layer of water-soluble stabilizer and put it against the fabric, right side or wrong side, it doesn't matter, you can use it either way, and that just helps beef up the edge. When I'm all done, I can just simply dissolve that in warm water and I'm good to go. So let me show you. I've got the serger all set up with a rolled hem, which is the perfect finish for scarves, and you're going to see how nice and smooth this is. I'll just go all the way off the edge here. And if you've ever struggled with a rolled hem on sheer fabric, you will love this technique. Add the water-soluble stabilizer, you've got a beautiful, beautiful edge finish. So what about the lace scarf? That's my spring scarf. It's a lace infinity scarf. And I finished that with a 3-thread wide serger stitch, a very standard serger stitch. So I want to show you this edge here that I finished with contrasting thread. So that pretty much stands out, but I wanted you to see what the stitch looks like. Now let me turn this over and look at the side where I've used matching thread. That is a beautiful finish. It just melts right into the lace and looks really pretty. So now we're going to go back over to the sewing machine and finish up with a few more techniques. So I've got my machine set up now with a braiding foot. And a braiding foot is nice when you're doing thicker, chunkier yarns. And I have a really fun technique I like to use on polar fleece, a little bit messy with the fuzz here, but I like to take a strip of polar fleece and literally stretch it and make it narrow, and then I can use that for cording. I can slip that right into the foot and zigzag right over that. Or I can use a couching yarn like this. So I'm going to feed that into the hole in the foot. Just get that down in the center there. Again, I've just got an ordinary zigzag stitch set. And in this case, I've drawn some lines on my fabric. They're very light, but that allows you to do a geometric effect, or kind of a planned, coordinated line effect like I did on my pink polar fleece scarf. So let me show you how easy this is to do. Just zigzag right over that. So again, we've got different, we're both doing couching a second way here. I did couching on the pashmina scarf, so the term is the same, but the technique is different and the foot is different. I used a couching attachment for that, and here I'm using an actual braiding attachment. So take that out, and you can see, isn't that a beautiful, nice finish? So now I've got another foot that I'm going to snap on the machine. I'm going to take this one off. And I am going to switch now to, right over here, my straight stitch foot. So a straight stitch foot allows you to sew, again, on those fine sheer fabrics and get a really, really nice hem finish on sheer fabric. But it's great to have a coordinating plate. So I'm going to very easily switch this. Like on this machine, I could just pop this off. You might have a separate throat plate that you screw on, and you need your screwdriver. This just pops on. So now the machine knows that I've got to actually turn it off when I attach that. So I'm going to turn it back on. And now I'm going to take that same sheer fabric and show you how to do this very narrow hem. So we've got the machine coming back on here. I'm going to position that underneath, and I'm just going to select a standard straight stitch. And the machine automatically knows in this case that I'm using the foot and the plate. It's got a special sensor, so it will not let me pick a stitch that would do a zigzag and would harm the needle by breaking it. So I'm going to do one line of stitching right on the width of the hem that I need, and that's going to give me a line to fold on. So that means I don't have to go to the iron to press. I'm just going to turn that line under and stitch a second time. And the trick is here is the straight stitch foot and the straight stitch throat plate. When you use them in combination, you get the best results. At least a straight stitch foot would be one option that you would want to switch to if you can't do the plate as well. But it gives you that narrow, tiny hole, so the fabric is very thin and very light, and you don't want it to get pulled underneath the the throat plate. So take a look at that, nice and smooth, nice and even. When you look at my contrast, you can see that really, really good. Okay, so I've got another foot that I'm going to put on here, and this one I actually need to screw on. So let me grab my screwdriver here. And this one is called a gathering foot. So I've got my foot all attached, and this time I have attached the gathering foot. I'm going to grab another piece of sheer here, and you saw on the, again, the bright colored ruffled scarf that I added a ruffle to the end. And I did that because a lot of fabrics are narrow, and when you purchase them, they're not wide enough to make a scarf. So I like to use that trick to add a little ruffle. And I am going to shorten the stitch length just a little bit and sew along here and just show you how quick and easy it is to use a gathering foot to create the gathers that you need for that ruffle. And then I would simply sew that on with a French seam so that I've got a nice clean finish. Again, you want your scarf to look pretty on the right and the wrong side. Getting a little sloppy on the end here, but you get the idea here. So that is just a really quick and easy way to make a nice ruffle for your scarf. I recommend that you cut an oversized piece and then sew your piece to your scarf and then trim the ends. That makes it easier so you don't have to fudge around. So we've done a lot of different tips and techniques. I actually have 10 that I want to share with you. So we make sure we recap some of them I've already told you and include a few more. So first one is start with sewing a sheer fabric in bright tropical colors for warm weather. That works really well when you're traveling, and it just gives a little extra perk to your wardrobe. consider making your scarf long enough to double as a shawl. The scarf that I made out of this colorful fabric is actually long enough I can do that. Wear it around my shoulders, tie it in front. So the next one would be when sewing a sheer chiffon, opt for a straight stitch foot and a straight stitch throat plate like you saw me use. Use water-soluble strips of fabric when you do a rolled hem to beef up that edge. Add couched trim to this, add surface texture, and add a splash of color at the same time. Serge the edge of soft lace using a 3-thread balanced serger stitch for an easy and almost invisible finish. Add length to a scarf by adding a ruffle, and you can make a scarf with much less fabric yardage. Use an enclosed seam so that the scarf looks pretty on both the right and the wrong side, and you're hiding all of those raw edges. Use a braiding foot to apply trims or make your own trim from the polar fleece, stretch thin. And then you've got another 10th tip here is purchase 2 yards of fabric and you'll have enough to make a scarf for yourself and a scarf as a gift. So seasonal scarves are wonderful, spring, summer, winter, fall, and you've got the ability to make a nice accessory to accent your wardrobe. It's easy and fun to make your own scarves. So let's take another peek at the scarves, and you could just see we've got summer, we've got winter, we've got spring, we've got fall, and we've got something to cover all of your seasons and give you a bright, special accessory. Visit the website, you'll find free instructions so you can learn how to make your own beautiful scarves.